cover them in 1 hour. What I am going to do is give you a little feeler on how things really happen. Because you'll find a lot of people around who are telling you theoretically that this can be done and that can be done, etc. But nobody is really telling you how to do it. Now, I was very lucky because working with Moody's Analytics and authoring books for Francis and Taylor in AI, we helped to develop the entire AI wing for them. And this made me study about AI, formal qualifications at this young age of 18, right? And then go forth and probably practically implement solutions across the world. I do very little work in India, but then, of course, being born and brought up in India, did my initial education in India, I would definitely be able to relate the examples to you. Right. Now, where can we actually use AI? And this is something that I'm not going to tell you. You are going to tell me first, okay? So I will need you to log in here and just put in your thought process that in the area of audit, where you can use AI. Once you log in, I will open up a screen where you can enter what your views are, okay? So you can go to, if you're on the laptop, you can go to menti.com and you can put in this code 47820884. If you're on a phone, you can simply scan the QR code. Right, I can see people logging in, that's good. There's some chairs in the front if you want to come down and sit. Can we just bring 4 or 5 chairs, ask somebody to bring it from that room so that you can come in and you all can share laptops if you want, because it'll be difficult to do it standing. It's a practical session. I'm sure there are some chairs empty in that room. It can be lined up here. And they're not permitting? Okay, very difficult to share chairs though. Right? I can sacrifice this chair for someone. Right? Someone can take this chair. Yeah. You can share a laptop. Right? Once you're logged in, I would like your responses here. And believe me, I'm not going to go much into theory. You're going to go hands-on very soon. I'm just trying to gauge your thought process on usage. The code is right on the top there. It's menti.com 47820884. Well, I will not take an answer as good, okay? You have to tell me cases, like how you will be able to use it. So somebody is telling, okay, you can make an audit plan. Somebody said in safest answer, in everything, not acceptable. You have to put it down here, okay? So whatever you want to say. ChatGPT recommendations, very dangerous. Can do, but very dangerous. Creating audit programs, team management, data analytics. Right. Now, when we have a thought process like this, this is again a generic overview of areas. It will be very difficult to implement. Okay? If you have a thought process like this. So what first we'll do, we'll orient our thought process into a implementer zone, because we want to implement AI in internal audit. Let me come back to my presentation, and I'll quickly scan the areas. It's giving you some, very little, but some of the areas. Now, what do I do? I'll list down a lot of areas. I'll share this with you, so I'm not going to go verbatim on this. Now, internal audit, they're saying, is going through disruption. Am I going to disrupt and unlearn everything that I've done till today? Well, no. Am I going to automate everything? No. Right? So where and what do I do with this internal audit, with the AI? First, you look at repetitive processes. It is only an articled assistant, okay? It is not doing the job. So as a chartered accountant, you will have to oversee everything that the articled assistant does, right? So similarly, anything that AI will be giving you, you have to verify them all. Second myth, if I'm using AI, am I doing 100% audit? You'll see it's written that you're moving from sampling to 100% audit. AI will only give you analytical outputs. AI can give you generative AI can give you certain outputs which are like recommendations, plans, NAT charts, etc., etc. Now, you are applying this on your client's data. What is it doing? It is analyzing 100% of the data. It is not auditing 100% of the data. It is only analyzing 100% of the data. It is giving you an analytical output. Now, from that, suppose it's identified certain missing data, certain duplicate data, certain aberrations have been found. As an auditor, you need to go back to your traditional processes of sampling, of checking your documents, of looking at those areas. So all it has done is quickened the process of finding those aberrations. But at the end of the road, audit has to be performed the way you do it today. It is not going to do the entire process. All you're going to do is fasten the process. And fasten in what areas? It will help me to make classifications of SOPs, policies, etc. Now, to do that, you will need something called agentic AI, right? We can't do agentic AI right here because it's difficult to do that. Now, what is this agentic AI? If you're looking into implementing an AI solution, it will be agentic AI with some small LLMs, large language models, okay? So an agentic AI, because I can't put data of my client onto the net or onto a cloud, unless it's a purchased private cloud, right? So I need to have my own database, and I need to have my own learning model there, and I need to get my answers from that database, right? I can't use generative AI because generative AI creates hallucinations. It will take whatever you're feeding and it will take the world's information that it has, punch them together and give you an answer which you don't want. You are auditing your client's documents. So all these policies, SOPs, etc., you put them onto a database, and that's from there you connect your program or whatever, and you run it only on that database. You do not run it on a worldwide area. So you have to be careful on that. Text summarizations, topic analysis, these are the areas. You're going to search and retrieve something. We do a lot of trainings. We have all our books in a digital library. And when I want to create a presentation, I tell it, go search on this topic, give me what are all the relevant matters. And then I apply my brain and put things together, right? So the searching process is there. Statistical analysis, sentiment analysis. It has something called a natural language programming. It can understand. You want to write a letter in a very strict way. You want to write a love letter, right? You want to write something which is, somebody's feeling really down. And I've never been able to write to people who are probably grieving or something, and I don't know what to write to them. And that's where I learned it from generative AI. This is how you can write something. So sometimes sentiment analysis also of auditors' reports can be done, or clients' letters, or meeting minutes, right? Risk assessments, fraud detections, compliance monitoring, continuous auditing, and so on, right? Now, when I am thinking about this, I'm going to say these are the things that can be done. This is my audit process. Where can I use this into my flow of audit, right? And then I'll pick up that particular tool and I will use it only for that purpose, right? So I can't, if I'm not thinking at this ground level, I won't be able to apply it. Right? That's why I said that yes, audit planning, audit sampling, on a top level it's fine, but when you're working down to a practical application, you'll have to come down to this level. Right? So with this brief introduction, I'm not going through this. I will going to give you this presentation because we have 1 hour time only and 15 minutes already wasted. So we'll go directly hands-on. You had been asked to implement Anaconda because I do not work on Google Colabs. Google Colabs is a cloud platform. You don't know who is looking at your data. So you are going to work with something on your own machine, even if it's not connected to the internet. So how many of you have been able to install the Anaconda? There was a link which was given. Okay. It's there in the group. Can you just take 5 minutes and install it, please? No, apart from the files, there is a software. Those who are in Microsoft 365 would already have Anaconda. The rest, normally you can take software Anaconda 3. You'll have to download it. I think I send a link. I'll just look at the email. Give me a minute. There are some data files, and then there was a link to Anaconda, the program. Wait a minute. I did send it, not from this machine, but it's there. There is a link, and yeah, kindly do it, because you'll need that software. Right? It's called Anaconda. Anaconda 3. It's very quick to install. Yeah, sure. I always share everything. Thank you. Right, you will get something like this, an Anaconda Navigator once you download it. And what we'll be using today is an Anaconda. There are a lot of programs in Anaconda and a lot of preloaded libraries. And that is why I prefer to use this rather than a single program. And this is available now free of cost. We are going to use Jupyter notebooks for our programs, okay? So by the time you all are downloading this, and let me just go a little ahead on the theoretical part so that by the time you're ready, then we can do the practical, right? Now, the first thing you do in an audit is, once the data has come to you, you do an exploratory data analysis. You explore your data. What is the kind of content of the data? What is the missing items? Are there any duplicate items? Are there any figures which are highly correlated, right? So you need to get out more information about the data. Now, when I come to AI, there are typically three kinds of AI when it comes to audit: machine learning, deep learning, and then generative AI, right? It's all there, don't worry. Machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI. When it comes to machine learning, it's about the machine learning patterns from your data. Could be in a supervised manner, could be in an unsupervised manner, right? And one of the best tools that you can use for machine learning, worldwide used, is Python, which we are going to do today. Python works on a background of Jupyter. Jupyter is the interpreter for Python, okay? There'll be a lot of information input today, but then it's 1 hour introductory. There's a lot to learn in this area. Next, what we call is deep learning. Deep learning uses neural networks, right? How does a neural network work? You send in packets to the neural network. The packet says, looking for answer yes or no. But there are many shades of gray in the middle. Like, somebody asked me, is this gentleman good looking? Right? So I say, okay, let me think. Should it be a yes or a no? No. Somewhere maybe not. You know, there are many shades of gray in the middle, right? So similarly, when a human brain thinks, when a neural network thinks, before it gives you an answer, it goes through various neurons and tries to split your yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, till it comes to a specific answer, moving backwards, forwards, etc., right? So in this way, what happens is that it kind of mimics a human brain, maybe 1%, I would say, and therefore it's called a deep learning. It's going deeper into the data, finding patterns in the data in an unsupervised manner. And then you have generative AI, which has become the talk of the town nowadays. But generative AI basically generates you an answer from the rules, from the data, from the algorithms it has already learned, right? So what we are going to do here, you have a choice of two. We can do generative AI, using it for audit. We can do machine learning, using it for audit. We can start with machine learning, give it about half an hour, shift to Generative AI, give it about 15-20 minutes. That is a possibility. We can do 45-50 minutes of machine learning. We can do only generative AI also. Your choice. Machine learning, both. Okay, because time is so short, what I will do is, we'll start with machine learning, and to keep her pleased, I'm going to give her all the prompts and the database which she can experiment on at her home. Okay? We'll do it that way. And if we have time, I'll show it here, right? Now, when I am coming into machine learning, the whole thing has to be in data frames. That means, how do I get this data frame? Excel file, various columns, CSV file, various columns, GPG file, various columns. You should be able to import in the data. And it will be placed into a table from where we will be working on. Now, data here can be of 4 kinds. Integers, floats, strings, and Boolean. Okay? Integer, we know, whole numbers, floats with decimal points, strings, alphabeticals, and Boolean, which has an answer of yes or no. Like, is it a male or female? Yes or no. Okay? So that would be the background. I'll be a little quick because the time is short, but questions are still very welcome. Okay? And then we'll go into certain visualizations if we have the time. Now, some of the exploratory data analysis uses those commands on the side, which we're going to work on. Okay? So let's move into, by the time, how far are you all in loading your Anaconda? That is another issue. When you're doing AI, that's why I asked to have the programs loaded from before, but somehow it was not done. But I can see it's pretty slow because I am also using a phone. Okay. By the time you're loading, let me just give you a basic structure. You will not have all these files. These are all my files, my client files, and other files which I don't want you to see. But, but I am going to just show you the structure, right? You'll open something called a Jupyter notebook here. First thing you will do is you will upload, okay? Upload the data. There are certain data sets which have been given to you. I think I gave you a data set of car prices. Yeah? And I think you have a data set of dividend and you have a data set of stock portfolio, right? So all you'll have to do is you click on that and it will come like this, right? And you click upload, right? So I already have it, so I'm not uploading it again, right? You have to upload these data sets. This file here, if something is running, it will show you that something is running. Right now, I have nothing running, okay? So once I come back here, I'm going to open one file for exploratory data analysis, and we are going to use a database, car prices, and I'll have to wait till you all load your thing. But let me just explain this part. This is called a kernel indicator. When this is white, means nothing is functioning right now. When some processing will be going on, this will become black, okay? When you want to look at this here, you can have a code line, a markdown line, right? These two are usually used. You can have some headings, etc. Code lines, like you see here, this is a markdown line, okay? When I'm coming here, I can write my code. Can I make this into a markdown? Yes, I can. I can simply go there and make it into a markdown, and it would become a markdown. 1 minute. I think I have to come out first. Let me add some more cells below, right? And I can, okay, it's already a markdown, right? So when it is a markdown and I will run this, it is going to become a heading, okay? So this was about markdown. Let me just put it here. Once it's a markdown, that code doesn't run. Now, if you want to give any comments, you can also start with a hash, and whatever you write there will not run, okay? Because that ignores, this is an interpreter, and this is a signal saying that do not run it, okay? Now, the first thing that you do is, how does it make these calculations? It makes the calculations based on certain libraries. These are open source libraries, well-established libraries, and they are available. Some of them are here. Some of them are available free of charge as well. I can see over here that some of you are having problem on putting it on, or all of you are ready on it? How long is it saying? Pehle wala ho gaya means? You have Anaconda is there. Now you click and open Anaconda and you click on Jupyter Notebook. Once you'll click on Jupyter Notebook, this will come up. I mean, you won't have these files, but an empty thing will come up. See, in Anaconda, there is something called Jupyter Notebook. Right. What we can do is, I can give you the demo. I will leave all the codes with you, right? And you can run the codes I will explain the codes to you so that you can understand it, and then you can type and run it later on. That is one way we can do it, because the preloading has not been done. So let me do that. Instead of going step by step into this like this, let me go here. Okay. Now you'll see, because I'm working this, I was working on this, this is green. Right? If you're working on something, it'll be green. So I do have a already pre-populated program which I was going to share with you later on after you would have worked on it. But let's go on it now. Now, as an auditor, there are four things, four libraries which are very important to you. One, I want to do some numerical calculation. I want one database from where I can find out something is missing, something is duplicate or not. I want some plotting, like graphs, maybe histograms, joint plots, heat maps. You try to make a heat map in Excel, you'll go bonkers, crazy. And remember, do things you can do in Excel in a quicker manner in Excel. Those which have voluminous data, repetitive doing, there AI is useful. If I have a cheaper solution, I don't come to AI, right? So first, you load the libraries. Now suppose you don't have a library, or your Anaconda is giving an error that this library is missing. What do you do then? You simply insert another cell, okay, and you do something called, this is actually going into Linux and getting those libraries. So you can just do something called, don't try to understand, but just try, say pip install, and you route, say my library I'm trying to install is NumPy. I will write that. So exclamation, that means it's going to take you to your C prompt, pip install, and you write the library's name, run it, and automatically the library will be installed. If you don't have the library, what it will do when you are running this, it will give you a error, right? Now you see over here, there is a number here, okay? And this is white. Now when I am going to run, you see that will become black and this will become a star. Okay? That means it has now loaded the libraries. Okay? I think I should remove the output so that, yeah. So I'm running this, you see, and it's already run it. Once it's run, a number has come up. Here, there will be no number. That means this has not run yet. Second thing, you have to read your data files, right? Now you see, I will disconnect myself from internet. I don't want internet now. I don't want my clients' data to be going on to the net, okay? Because no client will allow you to be online when you're connecting to their data. Now I am running this, I'm reading the data file, okay, and I'm putting it into a database called car_price. Naming convention, you don't write separate words, you connect the words with the underscore when you're writing Python, right? So what I'm doing, I have a CSV file and I'm going to do a PD read. That means I'm going to use pandas to read. Pandas reads it into a data frame, okay? So you read the file. Now you see it's star, that means it's now red. There's no error coming in. Suppose, just suppose, I am going to make an error because I want you to see what happens when an error comes up. Okay, I run this. It gave me an error. That file has not been found. Right? The error messages are very descriptive. That I changed the name of the file. I don't have that file. So it's telling you that the file has not been found. You remember my file name was car prices. So if I had car prices, it would not give me that error, right? Now sometimes you are unable to understand the errors. What do? You simply copy the error message, take it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT will explain it to you very well. Okay? Next, what we are going to do is, I think we can actually skip this right now because I'm not going to go into this thing. Let me go and run this. It's telling me what is the structure. There are 16 columns and 558837 records in my file. Now, how does my file look like? Okay, what is the kind of data in my file? I want to have a look at that. I use a header. So first 5 records will be picked up and you have a look at those. Okay, because as auditor, I want to see what are the content in my file. So you can see here it's about it's a sales data for automobile company. And I'm definitely seeing there's a voucher, VIN, technical stuff I don't want. And I can see there's MMR. MMR is a market rate, established market rate. Sales price normally should be more than your MMR. There's a sales date as well, which is given. Okay. So I can also look at my tail records. You see the head records are from starting with 0. Here records start with 0, not from 1. Okay. And I'm looking at my tail records. And that's a similar kind of, this is, you can see there was 558836. Now, as an auditor, I want to find some more information about the data, and I wrote .info. What do you notice here as an auditor now? You are only exploring your data, and this is the information you've got about this data. An auditor, it doesn't bother, not an English teacher. And there are no spelling mistakes because you can name your fields whatever you want to. I can put them A, B, C, D, E, F also. What can we see here? What? Okay, you're getting there a little more. Yeah, there are 16 columns we saw, which is here. Yeah, this is the structure of the data. As an auditor, what do you observe from here? What is there? There is some missing data here. You see, there are 558837, and this is a real life database. I haven't tankered with it, okay? And you see, here all the data is there. In make, it's not there. Transmission is not there. And what I am really interested, the voucher number. There is definitely 4 vouchers where there are no voucher numbers. You see, there are total how many entries? 558837, right? And this is non-null, means there is some data. Rest are null, they are empty fields. That means there are some fields which are missing here. As an auditor, therefore I know I have to extract these missing fields and I have to take it into a file and then ask the client that where is this data, or what happened to all this data, why is this data actually missing. You can't even perform an audit if you don't have a data, right? You see over here transmission, okay, doesn't really impact me as a financial auditor. Internal auditor, I would look at it, right? And even state is missing in some, condition is missing in some. Price of, this is a second-hand car sales database. The price of the car would depend upon the condition of the car, which is really important. Maybe a very fantastic BMW, they sold it to the friend at a very cheap price, right? So I should know what make it is and what was the condition. This is my odometer. This is, again, market rate is not present in all. So you can definitely see this is not a very good data that the client has given us. There are a lot of missing data in this. Either you shoot it back to them, tell if you're busy with another client that please update your entire database and then give me. Or is there some kind of a fraud? They are removing some data manually before giving it to the auditor. Because today everything is computerized, right? The next thing that we are going to go into is a descriptive analysis. This is again very important for a auditor to look into because it gives you a brief idea that where should I be probing, right? So now here, from here, what do you interpret? I really wonder if you can see this. This is very small, is it? Still put it in one screen. Okay. What can you observe from here? So first thing we do is an info about my data. Second thing that I'm doing is trying to find out its descriptive analytics. What do you observe? There are a couple of things you can observe here as an auditor. See, AI will only facilitate. Rest as an auditor, you have to interpret. Just because you run all these programs doesn't complete AI. Yes.
In the year column, the minimum year is 108 and the maximum year is 201, right?
Okay.
Data basis of 33 years.
These are the year of the make of the car. Because they're selling second-hand cars. So these cars are ranging from a 1992 model to a 2015 model. Okay. Selling price minimum is 1. Is this person gifting away cars? Well, I'm in line if somebody is gifting cars, right? Now, I'm going to go further, into the data, but here in my mind it came, okay, there's some issue. Are they scrapping and putting it at a nominal value, or why is the selling price 1? Okay, that is something I'm going to look at. Of course, these figures were all in not Indian rupees, some other currency. Yes, what else?
The selling price count is 5.825 for the database of 5.837. That means 12 database.
12 data is missing in selling price, okay? That we had found in info also, okay? You see over here, the market rate, the mean market rate is 13769. My mean selling price is 13611. Why am I selling under the market rate? Normally in a second-hand market, you will want to negotiate a higher price than the mean market rate. But these people are selling at lower than the market rate. There was a huge fraud in this company, this data. So probably somebody was siphoning some money, but of course it should not bias you, okay. So yes, as an auditor, I am going to look deeper. Why are people, I'm going to extract records where the market rate and the selling price is lower than the market rate, okay. It does have a lot of standard deviation, probably possible. Maybe there are many makes of cars, so I'm not going to comment on it. Okay. Next, what we are going to do is, we are going to create you can create a heat map, but that does not really give you the data. We are going to look at how many empty files were there. And this is something you can give your client, that these many data is missing from here, okay? Then I want to look at duplicate data. Now, there is a duplicated is a command which you can actually use and run, and it says there are no duplicate data. Now, as an auditor, am I interested in duplicate data? Data means all 16 fields are exactly the same as the next 16 fields, okay? Now, the client is not that stupid. Your answer is going to be 0 here. So, your query has to be on specific fields. So, what I am going to look at, I am going to look at voucher number. Voucher number should be different, unique, right? So you can look at other things. I have looked at voucher number, and I have said that I want duplicated. A subset is the voucher number. If duplicates are not there, then do something, and if you find duplicates, export them into a separate file. So you will give this file to your client, and then the client is going to, you ask the client why these are duplicated, okay? So you have this exported to a file called duplicates.file, duplicates_file, and I'm going over there, and let me see, has it got exported or not working? Here, we have the file here. What I'm going to do is, I'm just showing you this so that you can download it. I'm just showing you, although you don't really need to download it. I'm simply ticked there, and I've downloaded this data here. And I'm going to open this in an Excel file. And you see how well it has extracted it. Now every time I'm running, I have created this program once. Every time I go to the audit, I'll simply read the present file and run this program, and in 2 minutes your audit is finished. You can go and have a look at the movies. Right? So you can see all the voucher numbers which are duplicated. Let me sort it by let me sort this using the voucher numbers so that it comes together. Okay. You can see there are so many voucher numbers which are duplicated. Now, as an auditor, I don't reach any conclusion till now. You simply take it to your client and tell them, these are duplicate voucher numbers. Can you explain why they are there? And you see, 5 million data. In 1 second, it gave us this entire extracted file, and you can see this people have almost 16,000 data which are duplicated, plus data which manually you can never find out. Not possible at all. Right? I'm not saving this file. I come back to my processing. Right? And we have little time, so you can create a lot of structural analysis. You can find correlations. Let me just run all the cells so that you can just see the output, because the time is short, right? And then I'll show you something which we always have a problem with, which is mark-to-market analysis. Especially, I am an independent director of a bank, and we have NBFC companies. We have so much stock. Now, you have to mark-to-market the stock every quarter. Doing it manually will be like a big issue. So what we've created is one program which will go online, fetch you the market price as on whatever date that you mentioned. It will create one file where the client's date will be there, your date, whatever rate is on that date. If there's a difference, it will give you the difference. This is running here, and it's going to keep running for some time. But by the time what has already run, let us have a look, because I don't want to waste the time. This is something called a correlation analysis we have done, how it is correlated. Now, I am very weak at statistics. I don't understand too much. So let me look at a matrix. Now, this is something you can never create in Excel, right? You create a correlation matrix. Anything you want, images you want to save and put it into your report, you can simply put a right click and take those images, okay? Now, you can see here, selling price is highly correlated with MMR. It is negatively correlated with odometer. It doesn't have a correlation with condition, which is very odd. Depending on the condition of the car, second-hand prices should have been correlated. It has only a 0.32% correlation there. And it doesn't really have a correlation with the year of make as well, which is again little odd, but the explanation was they deal in certain luxury cars, which is making this data a little haywire. So then we had to split the data into luxury cars and other cars, and then it gave us a more unique feature, right? Now I know MMR is highly related with selling price, and I also know selling price should be more than the MMR. So I'll keep that in mind. I'll move to the next one, which is plotted my density, the selling price and its density. And these people really are selling things. Average price is hovering here, but you look and the zero, they're selling so much at 0 and 1. All of us are in for free cars, right? So there's something in this data which doesn't sound really good. And just through this graph, you have found it out. Again, client has to explain it to you. Minimum price, maximum price, using min-max, you can find that out. Now, we've taken certain scatter plots. And what does this scatter plot talk to a auditor? What does this scatter plot tell you? 1 minute, let me just put it up there. This is how the price, let me make it smaller. The price and the mileage, okay? What is wrong here? Number one, lot of zero prices. Average, they're literally junking the cars. Why are they doing this business? So many cars are being literally sold at very cheap prices, okay? But the other thing is, they are also selling certain new cars. The client had told me it's a second-hand car dealer, but you can clearly see there's zero mileage cars as well. Then you have many outliers. These are the files, documents I want to pick up physically and check. You can extract them like we extracted duplicates, missing, etc. You can extract these as well. So these, you can see from this diagram that yes, these are the things I need further. Okay. Now I looked at this, selling price and MMR, they are correlated, but not in all cases. You see, there are so many outliers. So that means they are doing something else as well. So do they have these permissions? I'll have to look at the documents. If somebody is not going as per the policy, definitely supporting documents should be there for those. Okay. And then we have, I've just identified certain large amounts, etc. in this case. Okay. So let's take a quick look at that mark-to-market case, which I'm going to show you in 5 minutes because I'm literally rushing on to it, right? And here we had a database where we had a lot of, which is called stock portfolio. You all have the database with you, which is, let me see, where is my database? Let's just have a look. Okay, we'll just look at it from the program. Now here I have used Yahoo Finance to get the data from the web. You have to tell from where to get it. Yahoo Finance is a good source of getting the data because the data is publicly available data, right? So I'm going to take that data and I'm reading my file up here. First I have imported those pandas for my data frame, plotting matplotlib, and I am reading my data frame. And I'll get some info. Well, this doesn't have any missing fields. It has only 51 fields. And it has your NYSE code, quantity, acquisition date, price, and total cost. This they have given from the client's database. Okay. Now I'm interested to see that the quantity and the total cost is given here. I want to now find out what is my closing date, current price, and I'm going to see how much is the mark-to-market difference. And then once I know the mark-to-market difference, I'll go and check the journal that the client has made to mark-to-market that data. Okay. So I am fetching this data and my current prices. I'm going to fetch some of the current prices. Right now, internet connection is not there, so it hasn't been able to. No, I have the hotspot. Let me put it on. That's why it gave me an error. 3:30, right? Okay, just 5 minutes. I'll be done in 5 minutes, okay? Hard stop. See, it gave me an error because there was no price available. It could not fetch it. Now I am connecting to that. He's given me a heart attack. It's not connecting. 1 second. I can't even imagine a place where there is no Wi-Fi. Huh? Yeah, exactly. In this age, there's no Wi-Fi. Right, let me just run all because I am in a bit of a hurry. And I'm sure it will not give it. You see, these are running, it's getting my current price. And then I'm going to get the current price and total price. And I'm going to then take the updated file to something called a mtm.csv. And it's also given me in, this person is a very bad investor. All losses, only few gains, okay? And I've got this exported in 2 minutes flat. It's got all the mark-to-market data done, right? So let's go and have a look at the file. There is a MTM, here, MTM CSV, and I'll just open it in Excel for you. Right. Right, what is this coming? Where is that file? This is the old file. Did I close this file? MTM, okay. I did not download it yet. When you get me into a hurry, this is what happens. 1 minute. MTM. Download. Why is the duplicates downloading? Because duplicates, I have not unticked it. Now it will download. Silly error. Don't convert right now. Okay. So you can see the original fields, it had only up to total cost. What has been populated automatically is my current stock value and then the movements which have happened. From whatever the mark to market is to be done automatically. Now you have the data, you go and look at the journals that the client has made, right? Now it's coming to an end of time, and so what I have done for you, there is a GHG emission data which has been given. This is something you can experiment by yourself when you are I've given you a whole GHG database, and I've given you the prompts, okay, that you can apply in ChatGPT. And at the end, you can also get the programming code for it after you run this, okay, in ChatGPT. I've given you the GHG emission data as well. By doing this, you will know how to use ChatGPT on a database, create a program out of it, now run the program in Jupyter. Next, when you're using your client data, you don't need to go to ChatGPT anymore. You have that program. Now you use that program, connect your file there, and you run it over there. You will not be connecting to the internet anymore. All that analysis I was doing in Jupyter, you saw I was not connected to the internet, right? These are very few, just a drop in the ocean that I wanted to introduce you to, that life in AI is much beyond generative AI. Hardcore, it's all about machine learning. It's a specialized subject. If you're putting your time into it, yes, it's going to give you the benefit. But you also need to know that you can't use it everywhere that you want to. Sometimes it's too expensive. Why would you use it, right? If I can do something which is a data like this stock data that I showed you of 51 data, I can do it as well manually. If I have 5 million data, not possible. I will use it only in those cases, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. My hard stop time has come, so thanks a lot.